Good morning and welcome to the Matrix Fitness live workout. My name's Gleed and today I'm going to take you through a full body conditioning workout. We're going to do 3 rounds of exercises, and in each round there will be 3 exercises as well. We're going to do each of those exercises twice, that way then you can learn the exercises and try and challenge yourself to progress yourself as well. So let's begin with a bit of creating space. You just need a little bit of room on the floor. We are going to be doing a few exercises like crawling around and getting down onto the floor. I've got a mat nearby me, a drink and a towel just to make you a little bit more comfortable as well. So let's begin by warming you up, and then we'll get into our main workout and we'll have a cool down towards the end as well. So to begin with, just start to open up your arms across your body. Just start to mobilize through the shoulder joints, just so you can start to feel a little bit of range of movement, improving and increasing through the shoulders, activating through the upper body a little. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate around from side to side. Start putting a little bit of movement from the ankles, the hips, all the way up into your spine as well. So you can see my elbows are just rotating around about shoulder to chest height. Okay, next up what we're going to do is we're going to do a squat. So we're just going to have your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to lower your hips down towards the heels. And as you're doing this one, your goal is to try and keep your back straight. As you keep your back straight, what you're looking to do really is to try to maintain the depth of the movement. So bending at your knees, lowering your hips down, and maintaining that strong push position against the floor as you bring yourself back up. Okay, let's take you into a little backwards lunge. So take a large step, lower the back knee down towards the floor, step your feet together and alternate from one side to the other. Now this step back lunge is a great movement just to work on a little bit of balance. And we're going to be doing a very similar exercise in our first exercise that we're going to be doing today. So we're just going to keep this range of movement as low down towards the floor as possible with the back knee. But try to just take your time, keep the balance and keep control at the same time as well. Excellent. Good work. Okay, just shake those legs out a little bit. Now we're going to start to get your heart rate up. So imagine you've got a skipping rope. I just want you to push off the floor. So you're almost doing this imaginary skipping movement. This will not only get your heart rates up, but help to prepare all of the muscles down in your lower limbs. So around the calf and all around the ankle joints as well. Just that means that we can start to do some exercises where we might change direction or challenge you with a potential bit of jumping as well. Now let's just take your movement from side to side, starting to get a little bit of agility working in your muscles. Now just scissor those feet forwards and backwards, so you're alternating from one side to the other. And you're probably going to start to feel like your heart rate's coming up a little bit. At the same time, you're just preparing all of the body for the workout that we're going to be going with. Okay, and just shake out the arms and legs there. Bring your hands up to the side of your head. We're going to do a jab, a cross, and a jab. We're going to jump 180 degrees and again, jab, cross, jab. Now, as you're starting to throw these punches forwards, you can see you're pivoting off your feet. Now, what I mean by pivoting off the feet, just allowing your ankles and your feet to connect all the way to your fists. So every time you throw those punches forwards, you start to pivot, which just allows a nice bit of free movement into your body as well. It's not always about getting your heart rate up, even though that naturally starts to happen. It's about moving well, and then we can really start to challenge your fitness as well. So the last couple here, and on the opposite side, excellent. Just loosen your body out a little bit. Let's take into some jumping jacks. So just arms around about shoulder height, jumping your feet out and in. Again, increasing your heart rate. This also helps you change direction as well. We're going to do some exercises today where you're going to be moving from side to side. Hence the reason you need a little bit more space. Okay, let's take into some knee strikes. What we're going to do is pivot your feet over to one side, reach your hands high, and then drive your knee up around about stomach to chest height. Once you've done 3, you pivot over to the opposite side, and we're going to alternate from one side to the other. Trying to create this big range of movement so we can activate all of the muscles and at the same time just prepare you for this big range of movement as well. And this will be the same range of movement as we take you into that first exercise. So let's finish off these last ones and I'll show you what that first exercise is. So the first exercise is called a push-off lunge. So we're going to go down into a lunge position and you're going to push off the floor, reset that lunge. So for 45 seconds, just on the single leg, off we go. Now, when you're doing this movement, you're trying to create that big range So lowering the knee down and drive it up. And then you can start to use your arms to create that little bit of momentum and athletic movement as well. So trying to be range of movement all the time, as much height as possible, but at the same time, just build progressively into these movements. Now we're just going to do one leg. And then what we're going to do is we'll go down onto the floor for our second exercise. But when we come back around to do these exercises again, that's when we'll swap the legs over. So just be mindful about which foot it is that you're driving up into the air at the moment. And then we'll make sure we swap these over as well. Okay, let's take it down to the floor into a press-up position. And what we're going to do is a press-up. Now, these can be done on your knees or feet. And then what you're going to do is you're going to jump your feet into one side, back out, and then over to the opposite side. So what you're having is a deep press-up. Let's go for these. Now, jump so that your knees straddle your arm, and then out, and then over to the opposite side, and then into that press-up again. So your feet jump, knees, one foot goes inside your arms, the other goes to the outside. Once you've jumped in both directions, you then go into your second, third, and cumulative repetitions from there. Now the press-ups don't need to be on the knees. You can start to put those into a full press-up as well. Good, last ones then. And relax there. Okay, our third exercise today is called an explode. So we're going to have the feet wide and turned out slightly. You're going to lower your hands down towards the floor, and your hands are going to be inside your feet. And hopefully you should find that you've got a deep range of movement here. From here, you're going to jump together and then backs. So what you're doing is basically jumping into a squat position and then resetting yourself. So just like we did in the warm-up, your squat should be a deep range of movement with your back staying straight and your hips going down as low as they can towards your heels. That way then your weight stays equal into your feet and your heels are down on the floor. Keep that big range of movement going. You've got 10 seconds of work to go. Then we'll go back to those push-off lunges on the opposite leg. Always 45 seconds of work. We always give you 15 seconds in between as well. Okay, relax there. Let's get you set up for the opposite side. So down into lunge position. You've got 10 seconds before we start. Feel free to grab a drink at any time you need one. Starting in 3, 2, push off the floor, drive the knee up. Lunge back to reset. Good, keep that big range of movement going. Use the arms, push off the floor, get as much height in the knee as possible, and then as much depth. Keep that strong position coming. Got to have that big range of movement, push off the floor. Last, just over 5 seconds to go. Last couple of repetitions. Make every single one count if you can. Okay, let's take it down to the floor. So again, the push-ups can be on your feet or on your knees, and then you jump your feet to straddle your arm. Let's get you ready in 5 seconds. And 3, 2, let's go. Strong push-up down towards the floor, then jump, one knee inside your feet, and then the other knee goes to the outside. Get that deep range of movement again, this time for the elbows and shoulders. Got the option of the knee press up if you need it. And relax there. Let's get you ready for those explodes. This will be the last exercise of our first round. So feet turned out wide, legs slightly wider than shoulder width. 3 seconds. Let's go down towards the floor. Jump your feet together and return back to that deep squat. So keeping the back straight, push off the floor. So you're exploding up into the air, jump the feet together, and then reset them. Keeping your back straight, maintaining this proper posture. So your back stays straight, eyes looking ahead of you, trying to work on the depth of that squat. 15 seconds of work to go. Let's keep your heart rates up now. Keep pushing you. Last 5 seconds, we get another couple of repetitions in. And relax there. Okay, I'm going to grab my mat. Feel free to grab one as well to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. We're going down onto the floor into a plank position to do a shoulder tap. Starting in 5 seconds, the hand comes up, taps the shoulder, and alternates from side to side. Now, your goal is to have minimal shift from side to side here. So set yourself up for strength, strong plank position. Your goal is not to rotate from side to side, trying to keep your whole body level. Place your hand underneath the shoulder each time. Keep in control. Push your foot into the floor to help stabilize you. To make this exercise a little bit better, squeeze your butt cheeks as tight as you can together. That will help keep control. Okay, relax there. Let's turn over onto your backs. We're going to do an exercise called a heel drop. So this is lying with your knees directly above your hips, flat out onto the floor, back flattened onto the floor in each position. And then you're going to lower one heel to the floor, bring it back in and alternate from side to side. That's where your heart rate gets to come back down. And we can focus on slow core control, trying to maintain this movement. So when the heel drops away, you're using the leverage, so the length of the leg, to make the exercise hard. So keep control, try not to rush this one at all, and each time come back up. So this has a 90-degree bend in the knee. And if you've got a 90-degree bend, the heels will be in line with the knees, and your knees will be over the top of your hips as well. That's what you're looking for. Now, you could make this exercise harder by doing both legs at the same time. That's your option of progression. Okay, let's turn you over onto your front for an exercise called a mountain climber. So again, we go very back to a similar position like we did in our plank. And then what happens is from that plank position, your knees come underneath the stomach and chest and alternate from side to side. But again, it's a slow, controlled movement. Try not to rush these too quickly. You could go very fast on these, and the time under tension that your muscles experience is quite low. So I'd rather you go slowly, build a strong foundation. And if you want to make it harder, then quite simply, we can start to squeeze the muscles tighter rather than just move them quicker and end up with momentum. So it's all about core control, which will give you your strength. So keep that slow movement going, bringing the knee underneath the body, and then extending the leg out. And relax there. Okay, 15 seconds recovery. We'll do those 3 exercises again. So the first is the plank with a shoulder tap. Then it'll be the heel drops and then back to those mountain climbers. 5 seconds before we start the shoulder taps. Let's get you ready. It's off we go. So bringing one hand up off the floor, press it back down onto the floor. Minimal shift from side to side as you take the other hand off. You can always adjust your feet. Your feet being narrow makes it a lot harder. Your feet being wider will make it a lot more achievable. Keep squeezing those butt cheeks together, trying to maintain the work as much as you can. Minimal shift from side to side. Try not to rotate the hips. Trying to keep the whole body still. Always helps to look down towards your hands. Good, and relax there. Okay, let's get ready for those heel drops. So this one, I'm going to lie down on your back again. Your knees at 90 degrees, so the knees are above the hips. Heels in line with the knees. Hands down by your side. Going to lower one heel down towards the floor. Bring it back in and keep swapping over. Again, that controlled movement going on. Keeping that equal movement. Now remember, the option to make it a little bit harder is you can move both heels at the same time. And that will extend the legs and make it harder. As you do that one, when your legs are fully extended away, ensure that you squeeze your butt cheeks. That will just help support your lower back. What happens is your muscles engage a little bit more and you're in a stronger position with more muscles working. So you've got the single leg or the double leg, and relax there. Let's turn you onto your front for the mountain climber again. So again, on this exercise, trying to maintain control. So we'll be in that strong press up position. Bring your knees underneath, around about stomach to chest height. That's your ideal height. Let's get you set up and off we go. Now again, extend those legs. Like we did with the shoulder taps, think about squeezing your glutes together, keeping control, maintain that position as strong as possible. Make the muscles do the most amount of work that they can. Be strong for the shoulders. Push the hands into the floor to maintain that strong press-up position. Just over 10 seconds to go. Keep the slow, controlled movement coming. And relax there. Okay, let's get rid of the mat. And we create a little bit of space for our third round of exercises, which start with a speed skater. So this is where we push from side to side. So use the arms in a dynamic way, where you push and transfer your weight from one leg to the other. Now you can be balancing on a leg, or you can bring the foot down and pause just for a second, just to maintain that controlled movement. As you push from side to side, be strong and athletic. You can use your arms to drive that motion. Keeps you athletic, keeps control. Now, a foot can just be lifted off the floor. That will challenge your stability a little bit more. It's one of the best exercises you could do for turning up the outside of your thighs, especially when it's body weight, no equipment needed, and it's just about you pushing as quickly or as far as you can travel as well. So you pick the intensity you want to work with and relax there. Second exercise we're going to do in this third round is a bear crawl. So we're going to go down to the floor again. Now, don't worry if you don't have much space. You can do this in a much more restricted movement. Just the opposite hand and opposite leg, stepping forward at different times. So let's get you down on the floor, and off we go. Opposite hand, opposite leg. And you're trying to keep your knees close to the floor and your back straight. It's about control again. Try not to shift from side to side. Eyes looking down towards the hands will help keep your spine flat. That'll stop your bum coming too high. That can be quite often a common fault, where people's hips go so high, it turns up into almost losing some of that core work, and it turns into just a shoulder exercise. Okay, relax there. Let's have a look at our last exercise, which we're going to do today. It's a power lunge. So we're down into a lunge position, and from here, you're going to jump from one lunge to the opposite. Now, if that isn't your bag, just do a step back lunge for me. So if you don't want to jump, you don't have to. Let's get you moving for 45 seconds. Dynamic movement again. This is where you can go quick if you want to push your fitness. So to get your heart rates up higher, move a little bit quicker, keep that depth. I always seem to pause at the bottom just for a second, just to make sure I've got my balance. I can get all those muscles to really engage because they've had to really quickly turn on and work strong, avoiding any range of movement which changes. So if you just want to bound from one movement to the other, that's absolutely fine. That little pause at the bottom can be really helpful. Just make sure all the muscles are working as well. Okay, let's do those 3 exercises again. Give the arms and legs a little shake. Speed skaters, bear crawls, and the power lunges to challenge you. Starting in 5. Start with your feet together. Let's push over to the side. Off we go. Dynamic movement again. Drive the arms. Push from side to side. See how far you can travel. Could it be a meter? Could we get to that 2 meter distance? Use the arms to be athletic. Remember, the foot can touch the floor, or you can hold the foot just off the floor to challenge your stability a little bit more. 15 seconds, then the bear claws come. Let's keep working. I want you to leave those heart rates high. I've got my heart rate on 156 at the moment. It's getting some good calorie burn here. Let's get you ready for those bear claws. The heart rates will naturally come down in exercises on the floor, and then they will naturally go up again when we hit those power movements in the lunges as well. Starting in 5 seconds, bear claws. Opposite hand and opposite foot move at the same time. Off we go. Be strong as you push through your arms. Keep control. Your goal is your back staying as straight as possible. Trying to maintain that really good shape of the body. Imagine there's a tray of drinks on your back, and you try and do your best to keep as much of the liquid inside those glasses as possible. Be strong as you push through. And relax there. Okay, last exercise here, team, is the power lunges between you and a little bit of a yoga cool down. Starting just over 5 seconds. Let's get you set up. Down into that lunge position. Let's keep it strong. Off we go. Driving and jumping from one lunge to the other. The alternative would just be a step lunge, looking like this, lowering the back knee down towards the floor. So you pick the intensity that's right for you. If you can jump in between those lunges, that will give you more work, but you've got to be mindful of how it feels on your joints as well. Golden rule of exercise: if it hurts, don't do it. There's always so many alternatives that you could do. Be strong as you drop your back knee down towards the floor, push off, and in midair, you swap your legs over. Just over 5 seconds to go. And relax there. Great job. Well done, everybody. Let's just take a mat and let's get you ready for a few yoga moves just to help stretch out the muscles that you've been working. Okay. Now, once you've got that mat set up, the first thing that we're going to do is get you ready for an exercise called a downward facing dog. I'm going to have my feet just off the mat. Now, before we go into downward, we'll go upward dog. So lower your hips towards the floor. Eyes look up towards where the ceiling and the walls meet. And I've got my knees rested on the floor, just feeling a little stretch at the front of the hip. Now, with your toes tucked under behind you, push into your hands, lift your hips high. Now, this is your downward facing dog. We're just going to pedal, so we're just going to walk the feet. Now, those feet can start to move a little bit closer together if it feels more comfortable. Now, let's go back into your upwards dog. So lower your hips towards the floor, but this time the knees are not going to touch the floor. Eyes look up, roll your shoulder blades back and down. Let's go back into that downward facing dog. And again, this time I'm going to hold it. And I want you to think about your heels coming closer towards the floor. Push into your arms so you feel a stretch through the back of the legs. But your goal here is to find a range of movement that you can hold and continue to breathe. Now, lifting one foot up, swing the foot over towards your hand. Once you've got it there, reach that same hand up high, reach up towards the ceiling. Now, push the back heel away from the rest of the body. Hold that strong position. Now, bring the hand down inside your foot, step back to downward facing dog, and then alternate over to the opposite side. Now, if the foot doesn't quite get there, wiggle it forwards, pick it up, move it, whatever you need to do. Reach the hands away from each other, push the back heel away. Now, bring the hand down, step back to downward facing dog again. Now, rest your knees onto the mat, lower your hips towards your heels. And I want you to think about just creeping your fingertips forwards on the mat, just so they start to get a deeper stretch. That makes you feel like you're getting a little stretch for the outside of your back. Good. Then slowly bring yourself back up to a standing position. So transfer the weight onto your feet, roll up for your spine, bring yourself back up to that standing position. Just shake out the rest of the body. Just loosen it up a little bit. Let's go into a standing quadriceps stretch. So looking straight ahead, take one foot into the palm of your hands. And if you need to hold on to something, you can hold on to anything that's around you, a coffee table. Slight bend in that standing foot. Think about pushing the foot into the palm of your hand, pushing your hips forward so you get a good stretch through the hip flexor as well. It's that little muscle that's been working hard in the core. Okay, swap it over. Whenever you do exercises where you're going to be bringing your knee in towards your stomach or crunching forwards, the hip flexor gets a really good work. So I want to make sure we get a nice bit of lengthening stretches in there. So think about pushing the hips forward slightly. And slowly release it. Now bring the arms around in front of you. Imagine you're hugging a great big beach ball. From here, think about inflating that ball so the elbows go further away. Excellent. Now bring the hands behind you. Lift your chin and chest tall so you get a stretch for your chest muscles here. Excellent. Just slowly release that. Thank you very much for joining us. This has been the Matrix Fitness Workout. My name's Matt. If you would like to join us again at 12 o'clock or at 5 o'clock this evening, then please jump on. We're live on YouTube or Facebook. So pick up us and join in a workout at any time you'd like. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.